One. All right. This is gonna be our 1000th video on the channel, and it's gonna be who's it gonna be? It's gonna be these guys. Yeah. I think this is just so random. You know what's funny? Dokkan released a surprise Battlefield LR, and it's funny because let's go over to GT bosses, and it's the Fortnite LR that the community coined this card, the Fortnite LR, because a Cell and Frieza dropped in Fortnite, and then funny enough, Dokkan drops a Battlefield LR that's a GT Frieza and Cell. It's so goofy. It's very goofy, and this card is. We'll talk about this card in the future. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the TURs. These guys are just so, they're just so weird. They're just so weird. And the reason why they're both so weird is because they want to be ran on rotations with each other. And guess what? These guys are not going to be doing anything quite special. And the reason why I say that is because it's like, okay, this guy seals, so he's going to be technically supporting this guy who gets, what's that? He gets a feather against all types and additional attack when the enemy's super attack is sealed. And then this guy has a 50% chance to stun it. If you stun the enemy, this guy gets, what's that? A feather against all types and the same 150% attack, of course, when the enemy's stunned. So they work off of each other, which, I'm not gonna lie, is nice, but the thing is that do we really need a offensive rotation like this? It's like, okay, they're technically GT bosses buffs, but guys, GT bosses still does not have enough. This team still doesn't have enough. Who's the best units on this category? It's like we have LR Omega, but the problem is that the team dies around him. We have Baby, of course, who is another one. Who's another one? I mean, I don't like this unit, but Dokkan Fest Super 17. I mean, who else? I mean, you could make something shake with Physical Omega, I guess. But the problem is that Physical Omega is sharing the same name as LR Omega, so it's going to be a little bit weird. You could make something happen. I don't know. And then, of course, AGL Super 17, but I'm like, who else? Have I skipped over anybody? It's like, you're not running Ice and Nova. You're not running Ice and Nova either. And, of course, you have the Fortnite LR. Like, are they good enough to run? This card is horrendous. I need to talk about this card in another video, probably going to be tomorrow, but today's Bad EZA video is going to be on 2 cards for today, and it's going to be on the GT Cell and the GT Frieza, both the TURs from both 2018, and I don't see why Dokkan didn't take the time to awaken those SSRs from that GT event. Like, we do have this cell right over here, this SSR cell, we have this INT Frieza. Why did they not awaken him? And you know, it's funny because this cell's INT, and of course his free-to-play card is physical, and of course Frieza is INT, and then his free-to-play, well, it's not a free-to-play card, his summonable card is physical. So going back over to these cards, it's like this card is a rotation that's obviously not going to work if you want to go ahead and run it in meta content, mostly because this unit's only, well, both of these guys are both starting out with 2 key and 150% attack and defense. They both get 100% attack and defense with additional super attack chance, of course, when the entire turn is GT boss's sworn enemy or revenge. That goes for both of them? And if the enemy is stunned for Cell, he gets a feather against all types and 150% attack. And if the enemy's sealed for Frieza, he gets 150% attack and a feather against all types. This is just... These are GT bosses characters! We are not going to see... It's funny I say that we're not going to see a new version of this card, and we get a new version of this card on December 28th of last year. It's funny. It's like, what? It's crazy because this card sucks. This card is straight ass. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like, okay, they have good super attack effects. They both gain defense from their super attack effects, and they do have, well, Frieza has stun, and then Cell has sealing, so that's good for off-meta content, but the problem is that 150% attack defense of both of them, pretty much at the start of the turn, and they both get 100% attack and defense, and additional super attack chance, provided you do have a GT boss's sworn enemies or revenge category character attack in the same turn, but the problem is that it has to be all attacking in the same turn, so you're pretty much forced to run a build where it's like, you gotta run GT boss, it's like for revenge. Let me take a quick peek at Revenge. Trunks is on Revenge, right? He is. So you could... you can probably make some funky ass shit happen. It's like, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of work off here. It's like, the things I do like about both these cards is that they do work off each other, but the problem is that neither of these guys are sitting in slot 1. Pretty much. It's just another one of these off-meta destroyers. So I think that is really about it. The real issue of both these cards is that neither of these guys sit in slot 1, and of course, they must be with each other. And it's just so weird. We gotta, like, we gotta talk about this card. We're gonna talk about this card tomorrow, but yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are the best. I'll catch you guys next video. I love you all. Peace.